God's sake, man, I'm fed up of being a left back, man. No one takes me seriously. Left back in the dressing room. See what I mean? I'm gonna do something absolutely mad, like acrobatics or something. Timothy, last time you even so much as did a pencil roll, you was in A&E. Yeah, you somehow managed to sprain your collarbone. I've never even seen that before. Now, but I've been practicing now, okay? It's gonna be fun. I can do this. Yeah, no, you're never gonna be able to walk again. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and you are watching FTW. This, of course, the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst what football has to offer during the last 7 days. What's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, there's a new mayor in New York City, as Zoran Mamdani beat part-time politician and full-time criminal Andrew Cuomo to the sea. Becomes the first Muslim to take over this position, and presumably the first time Arsenal have won any title race since 2004. Yep, Zoran here is a big Arsenal fan, seen tweeting in pain about Granit Xhaka, and I personally think this is bad news, because I know AFTV Tide now thinks that he's got a chance of getting this mayoral position. You mustn't forget that the ballots need recounting. To be fair, his warning to Donald Trump did seem a little bit familiar. It's time to go! Meanwhile, this is bad news for Mikel Arteta given his tactics, as he'll be soon banned from the US on acts of terror. On to the football though now, and somewhere in Madrid, one Liverpudlian was familiarising himself with an area he used to roam. Only in his time away, the place, well, it's changed a little bit. Trent Alexander-Arnold was headed back to Anfield. He was preparing for abuse by opening DMs from soon-to-be dads.
Alexander-Arnold, fuck you.
And bro, there was gonna be a lot of it. I'm not gonna. He needed to fix up. His famous mural was defaced by Liverpool supporters in the build-up to Liverpool's clash against Real Madrid. Adios El Rata at the bottom. That is a bar, guys. Someone write that one down. Trent himself was reading that absolutely disgusted now that he's done 8,000 hours of Duolingo. The Real Madrid right back was looking outside of his hotel window, concerned. Reds fans, of course, fuming after he ran down his contract at his boyhood club to go to Liverpool's European rivals. Actions he can't defend. And that's just him in a 1v1. Liverpool fans were so keen to boo their former man, they were booing him in the warm-up, but those Liverpool supporters would get the last laugh, as extra from the Hobbit Alexis McAllister somehow rose highest to head in the one and only goal here. Trent calls himself a lifelong fan. He was sat on the bench and he didn't even celebrate the Liverpool goal, for fuck's sake. But Alexis McAllister made sure to celebrate for him, doing his celebration as he scored in front of Trent's very eyes. Yeah, it's a shithousery award for the Argentinian. That's crazy behaviour. A scoreline of 1-0 probably flattered Los Blancos here. They were firmly off the boil, not the Real Madrid you would expect to see in this sort of game. Highlighted probably by Real Madrid Extras tweets, which took on a pretty familiar theme. Thibaut Courtois turns into a completely different man when it's time to play Liverpool. As the Champions League final of Paris and Liverpool fans are trying to decide between who's worse, Thibaut Courtois or Osama bin Laden.
We have caught and compromised to a permanent end.
Whilst Kevin De Bruyne will be comforting us over our hatred for this man. Trent, meanwhile, was making himself useful, giving Thibaut advice on pregnant women in the local area. Meanwhile, Arda Güler was trying to wake up Kylian Mbappe for the first half. Vini Jr. was getting aggressive, I'm sure, to Xabi Alonso when the Spaniard thought about bringing him off for Rodrigo again. Maybe he should have done, honestly, because Vini was put in Conor Bradley's back pocket and then left in the washing machine. No Northern Irishman had this man on a leash. Vini having to resort to the theatrical when brought down by the right back. The live scenes pretty disastrous. I'm not gonna lie, he got absolutely spun. There was a penalty decision in this game which was a little bit controversial. A handball from Aurelien Tchouameni which was overturned in the end. I think I kind of agree because he was so close to the ball being struck. But Virgil van Dijk had some advice, and that was for him to use his hands once again, diving to save it from the wall of a free kick. In the end, it wouldn't matter as Alexis McAllister headed home, and that left Xabi Alonso to bring on that man, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool fans were relentless in their booing, one getting emotional as soon as he came off the bench. At full time, Arne Slot was brought aside by TNT Sports for an interview where he had a dig for Wayne Rooney's managerial career.
It's clear that it's nicer if you win games than if you lose games as a manager. Am I right? Or no.
Meanwhile, after being very professional with Robbie Fowler and Wayne Rooney, Virgil van Dijk had a completely different handshake for Daniel Sturridge.
Nice to meet you. Peter Tencio.
All right, nice to meet you.
Jerome Smith.
Come on, brother. What's up, fam?
Honestly speaking, I cannot believe we managed to bring that out of the bag after being so consistently shit all season, but hopefully it's a firm turning point now for Liverpool. Now, in a battle I like to call the Dominatrix Derby, we saw Bayern Munich face off against Paris Saint-Germain. Both teams are almost unbeatable in their own leagues as they sit and laugh at the peasants below them. And as both sets of owners yorked one off over ruining their domestic leagues, the two sets of players clashed out on the pitch, with Bayern ultimately victorious over the reigning Champions League winners. The score 2-1 here. Luis Diaz-Caban scored a brace before before then imprisoning Achraf Hakimi's leg. The Colombian involved in pretty much everything in this game. The tackle was an absolute horror story. I'm not going to reverse angle his back. Thankfully for the Moroccan right back, Achraf Hakimi has his own leg in his mother's name. No, but genuinely, thankfully he's not like very badly injured. It is a pretty nasty sprain that he's picked up on his ankle, but he should be fit in time for the likes of the African Cup of Nations. It did, however, have staff members from PSG very, very concerned on the phone. Or at least, I think so anyway. Hey, so can I get 2 number 12s, 1 number 10 with cheese, and then a number 25? Sir, this isn't a restaurant, this is a secondary school, and I'm calling the police. Another man who'd be going off injured in this one would be Ousmane Dembele. A recurrence of an injury he'd sustained earlier on in the season. His hamstrings won him that Ballon d'Or, and now they're heading out, mate. His return to the starting 11, brief to say the least. Manuel Neuer won man of the match in this one. Absolutely insane longevity. He's older than his own coach, for God's sake. He makes 16 wins in 16 in all competitions now for Bayern Munich. What a performance from them and their manager. Just don't let it get to Vincent Kompany too much, or else he'll be getting very big-headed about his own ability. Well, actually, I suppose that's already. Barcelona used this week to take a break from being a competent football club as they drew 3-3 in a thriller versus Club Brugge. The second Bruges goal in this game. Oh my days. They had Hansi Flick's offside trap getting penetrated, bruv.
Sexy, with penetration.
Carlos Forbes proving to be an absolute baller in this one. The youngster was named man of the match. A far cry from where he was last season, on loan from Ajax at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Yeah, this guy got absolutely saved, mate. In fairness to Barca, they were pretty unlucky in this game, hitting the crossbar a number of times. Hansi Flick will have some stern words for the woodwork when he catches it.
When I'm through with you, when I'm through with you,
but there was controversy in this one very late on, as Club Brugge felt they were robbed of a late goal after a Wojciech Szczesny mistake. Anthony Taylor being the shittest ref known to man. Imagine my shock. He could be seen celebrating with the Barca squad when they salvaged a point out of this one. If I'm Carlos Forbes, I'm attacking Anthony Taylor there and then. Specsavers are already in his DMs looking to get him to do a career swap.
You want a job? Come to me. Wallahi, I'll get you a job.
Now for Chelsea, and they almost faced disaster on the European stage as they drew 2-2 to Karabakh of Azerbaijan.
fuck Chelsea, pussy, or what? Say something.
These lot were behind to a bag for life for a good portion here. That is mental. They were out XG'd as well by Karabakh in this game. Big concerns for Chelsea. Big concerns for Cole Palmer. He doesn't even know what an Azerbaijan is. But fair play to Karabakh, because that's now 7 points picked up out of a possible 12 to start their Champions League campaign. Really, really impressive. If they pick up 3 more points, they're probably guaranteed to get to the knockout stages. A real big achievement for them. There was no such surprises for Arsenal as they easily swept aside Czech side Slavia Prague. An easy win for the Gunners, and maybe it's time to slap Slavia Prague somewhere that they are a little bit more accustomed to, you get me? Max Dowman made his debut in this one as the youngest Champions League player ever at just 15 years old. Again, a reminder, he doesn't even turn 16 till New Year's Eve. Czech Child Support Services could be seen showing the police that they needed to eject Dowman out of the stadium. But honestly, what a week. Liverpool beat Real Madrid and Arsenal conceded a shot on target. A crazy day for Champions League shocks. Manchester City pretty easily swept aside their German opposition in Borussia Dortmund. Phil Foden picking up a brace and putting in a sick performance, to be fair to him, after a pretty difficult, last year. One Man City fan even managed to get a selfie with Phil whilst he was celebrating. They might have got a little bit too friendly with the Manchester City winger.
Thanks, Phil.
Sorry.
Thanks for that, Phil.
Phil?
Erling Haaland could be seen scoring against his former side in this one. I'm sure Borussia Dortmund travelling fans weren't too pleased to see him again. Meanwhile, Savio won't be too pleased to see the linesman here. He felt the official got in the way of his challenge against the Borussia Dortmund defender. He kind of shoved him and made contact with him and then got booked for it in the process. Meanwhile, one supporter could be seen showing up, 2 hands signalling 1-0. Brother, the scoreline's 4-1. I know you're wearing glasses, but surely your vision can't be that bad.
Wallahi, I'll get you a job.
Back on Premier League duty for Manchester City, and they defeated Bournemouth at the Etihad. A suicidal high line from the Cherries allowed Erling Haaland to sprint through and score. Ryan Cherky immediately knew what the situation was going to be. He didn't even need to wait for Erling Haaland to score on the halfway line. And I'm not surprised, because Erling Haaland's share of goal scoring compared to other players in this City team is getting a little bit outrageous. Yo, Erling, just a quick one. Can we, score a goal at any point as well? I like celebrating. Maxime Esteve scoring 2 own goals in 1 game for Burnley is second in their top scorers list, for fuck's sake. Esteve's been their best defender. Erling Haaland pretty aptly brought out the robot celebration because bro's actually the Terminator this season. They don't sub him off in games, but they just put him into safe mode. You don't need to do a medical, you can just run diagnostics on bro. Meanwhile, Chelsea took a trip down to 3-point lane and came back with the goods. A 1-0 victory here against Spurs, but again a flattering scoreline. Tottenham were absolutely dominated here. For true violation vibrations on Insta after, as a number of Chelsea players set their location as either the dance floor, training ground, and the violations didn't stop for Tottenham supporters when Pedro Neto started riling them up inside the ground.
Get out! Get out, you twat! Get out! You embarrass me! What are you looking at, twat?
Poor Josh Achampong, man. Why did getting at him for just sitting there calmly on the bench?
I wasn't even driving.
Don't shut the fuck up, you fucking piece of bacon! Why did I get picked up?
The tensions would spill out onto the pitch as well, as Jed Spence got into a confrontation with Mark Cucurella and sent him back to the paella factories of Spain. Jed Spence's penitentiary is locked down for unsafe working conditions at the moment. We ain't gonna see that for a while, guys, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm Vicario, I am letting loose on my teammates back in the dressing room, because they left him out to dry in this one. 0.1 XG at home is a madness, bro. You rented out the stadium. It's not yours anymore. Robert Sanchez probably picked up a higher XG than that from a goal kick. As I mentioned, Tottenham were let off the hook pretty easily here by some pretty shocking Chelsea finishing. Joao Pedro without the R spurning multiple opportunities. And Jamie Gittins, bro, I'm so sorry. I don't care about your Carabao Cup goals.
You can never make it.
On to Arsenal versus Burnley now, and if anyone was going to stop Arsenal set pieces, it had to be... Yeah, nah, never mind. I'll just top myself. Arsenal easily won here once again, and would you believe it, kept another clean sheet. One shot on target faced by Arsenal in their last 4 Premier League matches. It's genuinely getting a little bit unfair. What are the strikers that are playing up against them doing, like, when it comes down to a 1v1 situation? I tell you who else has been spurning chances up front, though, Victor Gyökeres. His form going into this game was apocalyptic, but he did at least get on the end of another Arsenal set piece. As for Liverpool, and we somehow managed to turn the tide in the Prem, ending a run of 4 losses in a row with a victory over Unai Emery's Aston Villa. Emi Martinez was left in more tears than the end of any Premier League season he's involved in, after an absolutely shocking error led to a gift for Mo Salah. Unai Emery's got his new goalkeeping plan sorted after this disaster class.
Marco Bisotto.
Where is Emi Martinez, though?
Marco Bisotto.
Bro, that you were given a handbook on how to beat Liverpool by every other team in the league. He just left the homework till the night before. Meanwhile, Harvey Elliott was watching on at home. Of course, he can't play against his parents' side. I know that he was celebrating Mohamed Salah's goal. I just can't prove it yet. This result came off the back of a pretty humbling defeat to Crystal Palace for the Reds, knocking them out of the Carabao Cup. The fructose fracas ended in a farce. We didn't help ourselves here. The starting 11 was very weak. The bench had a combined age that would struggle to get into year 9. The only player left from our usual starting 11 was Kirkes. Brother, listen, slot machine, you're testing my patience here, bro. Him and Andrew Robertson could be seen fighting over who would be playing left back in the same squad. And after being defeated pretty heavily here, 3-0, Newcastle were the first to banter us, saying they'd invested in better with a picture of Nick Voltemada, and Palace had a change for their bio. Yeah, it's a shithousery award for both of them, but I just don't want to get, I don't want to talk about it. As for Manchester United, their run of wins came to an end with an away draw against Nottingham Forest. You just got diced. Manchester United players, you've ruined the United Strand's life again. I just want you to know that. You actually had a chance there. You had 3 wins in a row. You just had to do it 2 more times. You've done the hard work. Nico Williams acknowledged that, saying there would be absolutely no trims over on Twitter. Meanwhile, Amad Diallo scored a banger in this one. Honestly, this is what Amad Diallo's doing. Imagine what a normal Diallo could do. Forest are down towards the bottom of the table, but at least things aren't going as badly as they are for Wolves.
Fuck off, Jeff! You fucking stupid fucking... It doesn't fucking end, Jeff!
After scrapping with supporters and Jose Sarr being told he was a member of Al-Qaeda, Vitor Pereira was finally relieved of his duties as Wolves boss. They sacked him just a few months after giving him a new contract. Honestly, don't smile that it's over. Cry that it happened. They're the only side in the top 7 tiers of English football without a league win this season, really highlighting how bad their campaign has been so far. But at least for Vitor, he can now go and scrap with fans now that he's not contractually obliged to be a law-abiding citizen. And Erik ten Hag is now linked with a vacant job. Honestly, guys, the scriptwriters would be going nuts if he beats Ruben Amorim's Manchester United. Meanwhile, down in East London, and West Ham United faced off against Newcastle, resulting in Nuno Espirito Santo winning his first game in charge. Christ, how bad are Newcastle? They weren't helped here by some absolutely awful shot stopping. Nick Pope's saliva goes into overdrive when it's time to actually use his hands on a football. Listen, Nick might be the first Pope that's just going directly to hell, guys, after performances like this. Elsewhere, and Cristiano Ronaldo returned to his favourite thing this week, and that was clapping Piers Morgan's cheeks. In this one, he had some pretty controversial takes again, suggesting suggesting if he was playing in the Premier League right now, he'd still score 25 goals in a season, and also taking digs at Lionel Messi and the fact that it should be easy for Argentina to win a World Cup rather than Portugal. This man's got Messi beaming off his mind, and it's not like the punches are being returned, bruv. Lionel Messi is not talking about you. He's too busy currently thinking about his train collection whilst trying to microwave a can of baked beans. During this interview, when Piers Morgan turned to Cristiano and asked whether he could touch his abs, and this might be Pierre-Paul Aki, bro, because that's fucking...
I don't know, man. He's a real proper fucking weirdo.
He could be seen outside of Ron's window when he's getting changed in the morning. I feel like this is all an ego boost, really, for Cristiano Ronaldo when he does an interview like this. He doesn't need to. He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. Yet he gets annoyed when Piers Morgan doesn't confirm that he's God, Vishnu, and David Attenborough rolled all into one.
What did you say to me?
I'm sorry. Shit. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean it.
He also spent this opportunity kissing the ass of Donald Trump, presumably so that he's allowed into the United States for the World Cup. I'm sure, I don't know, they can share fake tan or something like that. He said that he's got something in common with Donald, but he's not allowed to say.
Beg your pardon?
Brother, you better say, because if not, we're going to assume it's the charges. Back on Champions League action, and at Tottenham, we find our first goal of the week, and it comes in the form of an unlikely source. Mickey van der Veen might well be Tottenham's leading goal scorer in all competitions, but he's usually scoring with his head. This week, though, he decided to take on Copenhagen's entire squad with a ridiculous, powerful and pacey solo run before slotting past the goalkeeper. Genuinely, one of the goals of the season. That's actually mental. The spirit of Heung-min Son overcame him. Another man in the goals is Victor Osimhen, who scored a hat-trick in the group phase this week. He now has 6 goals in the Champions League, whilst his former side Napoli in total only have 4. And what a week it's been for the Minnows, because Cypriot side Pavos earned their first ever win in the Champions League, beating Spanish side Villarreal 1-0. They put in some pretty decent haram ball with this formation. I have really had me questioning where David Luiz had spawned from because he plays for them, but genuinely so impressive, so happy for them as a club. Now, on to Europe, and we head over to Spain first. I talked about it in a little bit more detail in this video, but it was drama in El Clasico. Now, Real Madrid were victorious, but the biggest story, I would say, really, was a falling out between Vini Jr. and Xabi Alonso, the Brazilian getting annoyed after being substituted with 20 minutes to go. There was then confrontation at the end between Lamine Yamal, Dani Carvajal, and Thibaut Courtois, as well as Rafinha and Vini Jr. getting into each other. Trent in the background, bemused, bro. He doesn't know what hijo de puta means. It's a shame for Vini because, to be fair, he did actually do like a couple of wholesome things during this game and did apologise in a statement afterwards. By the way, Barca fans inside the ground were having a change of heart. Midfielder Pedri's going to need a change of ankle after getting spun into next Wednesday by Jude Bellingham. The Spaniard is now out injured and he'll be flying through his medical because he hasn't actually finished falling over yet. Brazilian youngster Endrick posted on Twitter, "Still I rise," in response to a lack of game time. Nice of him to share his official job whilst actually at Real Madrid here as well. Child labour at Real Madrid exposed. The manager Matias Almeida and Atletico boss Diego Simeone did an interview together before their two sides clashed this week. It was actually pretty good-hearted overall. Antony is continuing to do bits meanwhile for Real Betis, grabbing a 9.9 rating. This man genuinely was all over the pitch. No goalkeepers ever kept a clean sheet when Antony scored. Just remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Real Madrid Castilla were in interesting action this week. They faced off against Southampton, of all teams, in the Championship. Well, Southampton's under 21s, and it ended in chaos as they conceded in the 94th minute a goal assisted by Southampton's goalkeeper Gavin Bazunu. Meanwhile, even weirder stuff going on at Sporting Gijón. They're not allowed to use either their home or away kit due to kit clashes with Mirandes, but are now not allowed to use their third kit because it has a badge on that hasn't been registered. They frantically had to search around for different kits to wear and have fallen on their green training kit. I think they're going to be the first team in all history to wear their training kit in an official match. Over in Germany, it looks like Vincent Kompany's pretty happy with the scoreline at Borussia Mönchengladbach, and he'll be pretty happy with their next German gem. That's Lennart Karl, who has been absolutely phenomenal for them since bursting into the team. He pulled off this beautiful skill in the car. In France, and things aren't going too well for Metz. They were 6-0 down to Lyon. They're currently last in Ligue 1, but at least their fans are still having some fun in the stands. Meanwhile, in the 7th round of the Coupe de France, FC Mulhouse face a 37,000-kilometer round trip to face AS Magenta, who are based in New Caledonia. In Italy, though, meanwhile, and after the sacking of Patrick Vieira, Mario Balotelli took to Insta to say that karma is a bitch. The two of them had a pretty nasty relationship, it's fair to say, at Genoa. And at Torino, their goalkeeper Alberto Pagliari has decided that using his hands is a little bit overrated and he's just volleying crosses clear from now. Speaking of beautiful Italian volleys, though, it's time for your goals of the week. And we start with Peter Zielinski. Inter have a corner and they launch it to the edge of the area where Peter Zielinski cushions a side-footed volley directly into the top corner. This is one of the most satisfying goals I've ever seen, genuinely. Absolutely beautiful from the whole. After that, we head to Ghana, where Hubert here has picked up the ball from outside the area, has absolutely rifled it in. The power on this strike, the goalkeeper didn't stand a chance. And it's a similar story over in South Africa, where a set piece has been worked nicely. It's been headed clear only to fall to Cameron Danson, who's caught this volley perfectly and smacked it in off the crossbar, making it even more satisfying. I love a crossbar volley. Wow, it's perfect.
Hello all and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
E é o segundo. Manda a bola pela linha de fundo, escanteio.
E é o segundo jogo dele, né? Primeiro lá contra o Flamengo no Maracanã e já essa pedreira contra a LDU, e ele vai muito bem nesses dois lances.
And that concludes The Beautiful Game.
Now, over in Turkey, and scandal is taking over the nation. I know, there's a massive surprise there, isn't it, realistically? It turns out that a mass amount of referees have been betting on football matches. And not just that, betting on football matches in leagues that they are actually officiating in. The numbers are genuinely quite scary. This isn't just like a couple of referees. This is a vast amount, if not at least half of them. Please, can we do this investigation in England? I'm just trying to see something very quickly. I'm sure one Turkish ref was devastated after putting his life savings on a result, but his linesman cost him by betting the other way. Look, Sandro Tonali's heading to Turkey, and it ain't for a hair transplant. The Old Firm derby went the way of Celtic in Scotland this week, but one fan wasn't a winner at all. I don't know what, he must have forgotten to put his deodorant on, because no one is wanting to get near my man. Meanwhile, a bus of Celtic fans pulled up alongside one of Rangers supporters, and they were in the mood to remind them of the result. Elsewhere in Scotland, and Aberdeen have hired a man who died on the pitch, stole a penguin, and was jailed for match fixing in Singapore as their new sporting director. What could possibly go wrong there, guys? Am I right? Lionel Messi shocked the world by scoring a diving header. It's Ibar, man. He's basically flying through the air. At a height of 5'1", this feels like he's jumped out of a plane. Over in Kings League now, and Brazilian left-back Marcelo, known for his incredible skill as a footballer, pulled off this insane, like, double back heel nutmeg. The guy's a joke. Like, I would actually just hang up my boots if I had to play up against him. And on the theme of Brazilian flair, the epitome of it is Neymar. FIFA had to change the rules around penalties because of his fake shot ones. Now he's decided to bring that technique to free kicks as well. In Saudi Arabia though, and something absolutely insane happened. N'Golo Kante got annoyed. In Sweden now, and Mattis Adolfsson was taking absolutely no chances. With the opponent clean through on goal and the scoreline at 1-1, his side were in danger of dropping into the relegation zone with a loss. So he took Mattis into his own hands and absolutely clamped the guy. Yeah, look, he was apologetic. He did what he had to do. I don't think he meant to injure the guy, but the most cynical of red cards. In more positive footballing tech though now, we've got maybe the world's first bicycle kick assist to a bicycle kick goal, courtesy of Noah Gold and Lennon Gill over in America. Meanwhile, staying in the US, and for Jonah Mednard, take a bow with this incredible goalkeeping.
Saved by Mednard. Sent back at him, and he saves it again. Still batting around. Unbelievable flurry of saves by Jonah Mednard.
Closer to home, and there's the news that there'll only be one game on Boxing Day this year.
Okay, it's killing the game, mate. It's not the same game it used to be.
Santa's going to be devastated sitting down, and he's only got one game to watch after a hard day's work. Over at Tottenham, and Europa League winning goalkeeper Alfie Whiteman has decided to retire at just 27 to pursue a career in directing and being a photographer. Honestly, fair fucks to him. The life of a third-choice goalkeeper is so good in it. Bro's got paid to just chill about and, like, pursue a passion. Thomas Frank, meanwhile, was showing he's an avid TikTok enjoyer.
And then we had 6, 7 very dangerous situations.
This might be a sackable offence, I'm not even going to lie to you. Then at Southampton, and will still be in charge come the end of the champion? No, they got him out of there, fam. And he was sacked just in time for Football Manager. I see you, mate. Don't think you can't trick me. At Plymouth now, and their centre-backs were threatening to defend in League One, only to realise they simply can't do it. Meanwhile, Leyton Orient supporters noticed that A. Marshall was wearing a set of football boots, and they wouldn't let him forget about it. Meanwhile, at Sheffield Wednesday, and their all-round hated owner, Devon Chansiri, has finally given up control of the club. That led to his name being removed from the seats in the stadium, and after a troublesome start to Championship life, at least there is light at the end of the tunnel now. Now though, for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, first of all guys, if you didn't know, I have started streaming again on Twitch. I'm doing a Football Manager save. I love playing that game over there with you guys. So there's a link down in the description. Make sure to go and follow. When you're watching this, I'll be live on Sunday. One man I might have to sign though is 61 years years old. Yep, that's right. Aurelian Giza is the owner of a third-tier side called Sănătatea Cluj. He decided to substitute himself on during the dying moments of a Romanian Cup game to become the oldest player to ever play in any of Romania's top 3 tiers at the age of 61. Fair enough. If you own a club, you might as well win it. They lost the game. So, I mean, in Poland now in Lech Poznan, I'm all for players deciding to sit down on the sofa as a celebration. Staying in Poland, and fans of Jagiellonia produced an incredible tifo before their game against Krakow. Tunisia's women's side had a pretty easy job getting the better of Libya this week. And by easy, I mean that Libya's goalkeeper had never seen a football before, and they won the game 16-0. In Kenya, Nairobi United's goalkeeper settled a penalty shootout in the CAF Champions League for them to progress past Tunisian opposition. A massive moment coming to its head for Giz Hornkamp. Yeah, no, I know, look, listen. This is a real footballer, would you believe? Giz Hornkamp is a Dutch striker who plays in Dutch football. He's 27 years of age and he scored a hat-trick this week. Who'd have thought it? 3 Giz shots heading straight in. One fan of Chicago Fire betted that he would go bald if his side made it to the MLS playoffs. They did so this week and he kept his word, getting his head shaved down on the pitch. Well, shout out to Chennaiyin goalkeeper Samik Mitra, who scored from his own box against Dnipro in the Indian Super League.
Oh, almost finding. Oh, that could be a goal. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's still no this week. I'm sorry, guys. Honestly, I wasn't able to find any sort of like funny Sunday League like clip from this week. But if you have one and you want to see it involved in next week's episode of FTW, then make sure to send it to me on my Instagram or over on Twitter. It's at the official FNG on both, and links are down in the description. And I will make sure that you feature in next week's episode if you send it over. You might even get a couple bonus clips next time just to make up for it. On to the weird stuff though now. First of all, we start in Austria and an unceremonious end to a football club. Yep, SV Striping or stripping probably actually, are like a village club in Austria, and this is quite common in Austrian football. I made a short about a side in the top flight of Austria that basically have 0 fans, except it's even more disastrous here for SV Striping, and it's led to them basically sacking off football as a general. They've quit the second tier because they don't have a permanent stadium and no fans were going to games. But in Norway and Brann, well, they're thinking about their supporters. Well, kind of, because their reserve side have maybe built the smallest stand in world football. There were some rules and regulations in a reserves game they needed to play, and it stated that the ground they were playing at had to have 1 covered stand to shelter like important people and journalists. So for cost-cutting reasons, Brann decided to take the piss a little bit here and create maybe the smallest covered stand of all time with just 8 seats, but at least it's safe from the elements. That though is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at the official FNG on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.